Vietnam's economy achieves highest growth rate in 5 years. Review 20 years of Vietnam's membership in ASEAN.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Bizline, brought to you by VTV International. My name is Dai Chang, and as usual, we will start with several highlights in the economic scene for the past week. Taking stock, the World Bank's semi-annual review of Vietnam's economic performance was released on July the 20th. The report claims Vietnam's economy has achieved growth of 6.28%, the highest level in 5 years. The review also attributed this boom to the central bank's flexible foreign currency exchange policies. This has greatly facilitated economic activities and increased Vietnam's competitiveness. However, the World Bank expressed concerns over Vietnam's state budget balance, falling exports, growing deficit, and slow restructuring process. Free Trade Agreement, or FTA, between Vietnam and the Eurasian Economic Union, or EEU, signed in last May, is expected to open up opportunities for Vietnamese enterprises to access the five-country market of 180 million people with gross domestic product of over $2.5 trillion. To promote Vietnamese goods in these nations, especially in Russia, Vietnam has stepped up efforts to organize trade promotion events. A trade conference was held by Da Nang Department of Industry and Trade on Wednesday with the participation of over 100 enterprises, aiming to promote goods of high demand in Russia, including garments and textile, footwear, fine arts and handicrafts, processed food, agricultural and seafood products. To enhance distribution channels for Vietnamese goods in Russia, a series of trade events will be held in Moscow, with the highlight being the Vietnamese high-quality goods fairs later this year. The Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange HOSE celebrated its 15th anniversary on July the 20th. For the past 15 years, the exchange has massively grown, with total trading capital reached over $50 billion as of the end of June. There are 87 securities management companies participating in the exchange, representing 1.5 million investor accounts. HOSE's trading capital accounts for 88% of the total capital in this country's stock market. The exchange plays a vital role in the rapid growth of Vietnamese stock market. On a related news, CNN Money B Spoke Investment Group has recently ranked the Vietnamese stock market as the 12th best-performing market worldwide. Now, the price of gold has been dropping in the local market since last month. On Tuesday, major gold trading corporations in Vietnam, such as Saigon Jewelry Joint Stock Company, Bảo Tín Minh Châu Gold and Jewelry Company, Doji Gold and Gems Group, and Phu Nhuận Jewelry Joint Stock Company, listed the selling price at around 33 million Vietnam dong, or $1,511 per tael, a 3-year low in Vietnam. On the global market, gold prices plunged 4%, a 5-year low, on July the 20th. Experts have said gold prices might fall further due to global price fluctuations. On the 21st of July, Ho Chi Minh City inaugurated the Saigon Expo showroom, aimed at helping small and medium-sized enterprises promote their export items. Various Vietnam's handicraft products have gained popularity in European and East Asia markets, but promotional events for these products have been limited. To date, nearly 50 enterprises from Ho Chi Minh City and nearby provinces have showcased their products at Saigon Expo, with products ranging from processed foods, household items, apparel, handicrafts to machinery. The Vietnam National Administration of Tourism expects tourism arrivals from European countries to increase by 50% in the next 3 years as new visa exemption norms kicked in this month. Residents of the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, and Spain no longer need a visa if visiting Vietnam for less than 15 days. The administration expects the visa exemption and tourism stimulus programs will attract 1.1 million arrivals from these markets in the next 3 years. We have just reviewed several highlights in the economic scene for the past week. Up next, we'll reveal 20 years of Vietnam's membership in ASEAN in our crosstalk. The upcoming July 28th marks the 20th anniversary of Vietnam's entrance into the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. This marked the first step in Vietnam's regional and international integration. Over the past 20 years, Vietnam's accession to the various ASEAN agreements demonstrates the country's commitment to regional economic cooperation and to global integration. To review 20 years of Vietnam's membership in ASEAN, we have invited to the studio today Professor Nguyễn Quý Bính, Associate Dean of Faculty of International Studies at Hanoi University and former Ambassador of Vietnam to the United Nations and WTO. And before we talk, let's review some significant milestones in the following clip.
Vietnam became a full member of ASEAN on July 28, 1995. ASEAN now represents a robust market of more than 600 million people with a combined GDP of $2.4 trillion in 2013. Following its entrance into ASEAN, Vietnam joined the Common Effective Preferential Tariff Scheme, or CEPT, for the ASEAN Free Trade Area on December 15, 1995. In August 2007, the ASEAN economic ministers agreed to enhance the CEFTA. This led to the signing of the ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement in February 2009. These milestones have prepared Vietnam and the bloc for the establishment of a single market by the end of 2015 for the ASEAN Economic Community.
Thank you for joining us today. Now, ASEAN is considered Vietnam's first step in its international integration process. So what was the significance of Vietnam's entrance into the bloc?
In 1995, Vietnam became the member of ASEAN. It was a landmark shift in the geopolitical alliance in the region after the Cold War. Vietnam's motivation to join ASEAN at that time was to create the favorable environment, for national development and prosperity after the Cold War. ASEAN is considered as a bridge for Vietnam to open to the outside world, and since then, Vietnam make a very positive contribution in the association.
So over the past 20 years, how has Vietnam's participation in ASEAN paved the way for the country's further international economic commitments?
Yes, Vietnam's presence in ASEAN has paved the very wide way, for Vietnam's openness to the outside world and also for trade liberalization. Joining ASEAN provide the opportunity for Vietnam to participate in APEC as a member. There's a potential and also vast chance for Vietnam, to open the economy and also to integrate into the world economy. Vietnam also has sought to build the what we call strategic relationship with other powers, economic powers, US, EU, China, Japan, and as a member of APEC, together with Vietnam's membership accession to WTO, the way has been opened wide for Vietnam, for integration economically and also politically.
So what have been the impacts of ASEAN commitment on the Vietnamese economy in terms of trade and investment?
ASEAN is a big market with about 600 million people. The economic reform has helped Vietnam to develop quite fast. In some years, Vietnam was able to double its GDP. Vietnam has the opportunity to export not only within ASEAN, but also to other countries.
According to the Foreign Investment Agency under the Ministry of Planning and Investment, by the end of 2014, 8 ASEAN countries had invested a cumulative $53 billion into Vietnam, spread over 2,500 projects. The numbers make up 20% of the total foreign direct investment in Vietnam and 14% of the total number of projects. In 1994, Singaporean real estate company CapitaLand was one of the first international developers to enter Vietnam with the development of Hanoi Tower and the Sofitel Plaza in Hanoi. After 20 years of operation, the company currently owns over 6,000 homes and 1,800 apartment units in 4 major cities in Vietnam.
When we decided to invest in a country, we look at a few things. First thing, actually, whether the country politically stable. So Vietnam is very stable. Second, we look at its population. Do you have a big enough population? Vietnam, again, we got 91 million people. The next thing you look at the growth, the GDP growth, is it healthy? I think Vietnam consistently doing well. They're doing growth about 5-6% every year, range from 5 to 7%. And then, of course, the other fundamentally also got to be right. Inflation, interest rate, they are all under control.
2014 also saw the entrance and expansion of other ASEAN businesses in Vietnam in various fields, including manufacturing, retail, banking, and agriculture. Several Vietnamese companies have also expanded operations into other ASEAN countries.
Ở Việt Nam hiện nay thì chủ yếu đầu tư vào Lào, Campuchia và Myanmar. Đặc điểm của nó là do vấn đề về địa lý, về vấn đề về quan hệ. Thế và ở đấy họ có những cái nhu cầu và cái nhu cầu nó cũng phù hợp với mình. Thì chủ yếu là nông nghiệp và khai khoáng và điện.
Most recently, Vietnamese software company FPT announced that it will provide fixed telecoms and internet services in Myanmar, becoming the first 100% foreign-owned firm to operate in telecom in the country.
Nhưng mà cái cạnh tranh là ở chỗ là không phải cạnh tranh ASEAN với mình, mà cạnh tranh giữa các nước ASEAN với nhau để tranh thủ anh khác. Đấy mới là cái chỗ mà mình quan tâm. Tức là mình phải cải thiện cái môi trường đầu tư của mình thế nào đó để các đối tác Âu, Mỹ đó, Nhật đó, họ vào là họ nhằm chọn Việt Nam chứ không phải chọn các nước ASEAN khác.
So what do you think of Vietnamese former Deputy Prime Minister Vũ Khoan's opinion?
I think Mr. Vũ Khoan is right. Focus is on, for Vietnam, is to make, the Vietnamese market more competitive to attract foreign investment to Vietnam.
Currently, ASEAN investment into Vietnam account for 20% of the country's total investment, foreign direct investment. So what are your assessments on the growth of ASEAN investment into Vietnam in the past few years?
There are some impediments for ASEAN investment or vice versa, Vietnamese investment to ASEAN countries, not only because of the tariff rates, but because of the similarity of the products between ASEAN and Vietnam. Vietnam, you also have an outbound investor to other countries in ASEAN, accounted for over 9 billion, of course, mainly to Laos and Cambodia. For the present, it's about 500 Vietnamese projects in ASEAN countries.
So what are the benefits that investment from ASEAN bring into Vietnam?
With the openness of the market, we consumers enjoy a lower commodity price. When among ASEAN countries there's a free movement of labor, we have a chance to provide labor to other countries. Also, we have the workforce from other countries to come. We can integrate more in terms of economic, labor, hoping also financial and banking institution or system. So I hope that the prospect for ASEAN economic integration and also the benefit that investment can do in Vietnam, ASEAN can do in Vietnam, and Vietnam can extend outside.
According to statistics from Vietnam Customs, as of September 2014, two-way trade between Vietnam and other ASEAN member countries reached $30.63 billion.
Vietnam exported a total of $13.64 billion to ASEAN, including mobile phones, crude oil, iron and steel, electronics, machinery, and rice. Vietnam's imports from ASEAN countries reached nearly $17 billion, including oil and gas, electronics, machinery, and spare parts. Recently, Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng official visit to Thailand has shown Vietnam's latest efforts in boosting trade with Thailand and other members in the ASEAN bloc. Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng also participated in the Thailand-Vietnam Business Dialogue. He met with top leaders of big international companies in the region to discuss future investment projects in Vietnam. The ASEAN Economic Community will take effect at the end of 2015. In general, Vietnam is on track to fulfill its AEC commitments. In terms of tax commitments, the Ministry of Finance has lowered 90% of the required tax lines to 0%, with the remainder eliminated at the end of 2018.
Nhập khẩu giữa các nước ASEAN gần như là nó không còn có cái rào cản về thuế nữa. Thì đây nó sẽ tạo ra một cái vừa là cái cơ hội cho các doanh nghiệp Việt Nam. Một là chúng tôi tận dụng cái thị trường xuất khẩu. Thứ hai là tận dụng được cái giá rẻ từ các nguyên vật liệu nhập khẩu cho sản xuất. Tuy nhiên nó cũng là cái thách thức khi các doanh nghiệp chúng ta phải cạnh tranh với các mặt hàng của ASEAN vốn rất tương đồng về mặt chủng loại mặt hàng.
Rice, coffee, agro-produce, aquaculture are examples of similar product lines that are the key export products for ASEAN members such as Vietnam and Thailand.
Tự cạnh tranh để mà hạ thấp của nhau nó sẽ giảm bớt đi rất nhiều. Thì nó có một cái khối lớn hơn mà thống nhất hơn. Cho nên là bản thân cái đấy thì nó cũng sẽ hỗ trợ cho để cùng nhau để nâng lên một cái mặt bằng để mà làm với các nước khác.
During its international integration process, Vietnam has joined the ASEAN Free Trade Area in 1996. How have Vietnamese enterprises utilized these reduced tariffs from this agreement?
In general, Vietnamese enterprise can benefit from low tariff rates, but because production costs of Vietnamese goods are still high. Now, we need to look at the future when all the tariffs among countries are eliminated. That is after 2015. But since 1996, with reduction of the tariff and when we joined the APEC and WTO, Vietnamese goods, exports can enter the world market, especially in the US, EU, despite the fact that the trade between ASEAN and Vietnam are more focused on European countries, US and other markets, but the trade between Vietnam and ASEAN also increased.
When the AEC takes effect at the end of 2015, Vietnamese enterprises will be the first and foremost to see the AEC's impacts.
Lộ trình này thì chúng ta cũng đã thực hiện, đối với ASEAN thì chúng ta thực hiện từ năm 2000 cho đến nay, tức là chúng ta đã có 15 năm thực hiện rồi. Đến giai đoạn này thuế suất nó bắt đầu về cơ bản là về 0%. Chúng ta đã có một cái giai đoạn rất là dài để chuẩn bị. Các doanh nghiệp thì cũng có những doanh nghiệp thì có chuẩn bị rất là tốt, có những doanh nghiệp thì chúng ta đã không tận dụng được cái thời gian để nâng cao cái năng lực cạnh tranh. Thì chúng ta cũng phải chấp nhận có một sự cạnh tranh sòng phẳng với các nước ASEAN như vậy.
Hanvico, a Vietnamese company in bedding manufacturing for the past 3 years, have been proactively expanding their branches in Myanmar, Cambodia, Malaysia, and the Philippines. The company aims to expand their distribution channels and representative offices in all ASEAN members in the near future.
Cũng không phải đợi đến năm 2015 mà mới có chuyện hội nhập và có cạnh tranh đâu. Mấy năm nay bắt đầu cạnh tranh rất ghê gớm. Là anh chấp nhận cuộc chơi, có nghĩa là anh chấp nhận một cái điều trong yếu tố cạnh tranh, có nghĩa là anh phải làm thế nào đấy, anh phải trở thành một cái nhà cung ứng, ví dụ như Hanvico cung ứng cho hệ thống khách sạn hoặc là gia đình chẳng hạn, thì nó phải là thời gian nhanh nhất, sản phẩm chất lượng nhất, dịch vụ tốt nhất.
AEC does not only open up the commodity market, it also encourages free flow of labor within the bloc.
Khâu chuẩn bị trong nước mới là quyết định. Chuẩn bị về hiểu biết, chuẩn bị về thể chế, chuẩn bị về sức cạnh tranh, chuẩn bị về cái bảo hộ mình rồi chuẩn bị về cái gắn kết giữa doanh nghiệp và nhà nước.
Business associations have important role in boosting trade, providing Vietnamese enterprises with knowledge about the AEC and introducing Vietnamese enterprises with ASEAN foreign partners.
Thông qua các cái văn bản, các cái quy phạm quy chế rồi các cái quy định về thuế, về hải quan, nó làm vướng cho các doanh nghiệp. Thì khi các doanh nghiệp có ý kiến và hội tập hợp thì sẽ thay mặt để phản ảnh với nhà nước, hoặc chính sách mới ra, chuẩn bị ra thì mình tiếp cận luôn và góp ý kiến để làm đơn giản hóa những cái khỏi ảnh hưởng đến doanh nghiệp và thuận lợi hơn.
With the commitment from the government and the increasing awareness of enterprises, Vietnam is striving to improve the business environment in order to meet the ASEAN 6 standards in 2015 and ASEAN 4 standards in 2016.
Now, Vietnam is set to become a member of ASEAN Economic Community by the end of this year. And how can Vietnamese enterprises benefit from the establishment of the bloc?
Among ASEAN, also they have some other form of agreement to extend, to reduce further, the tariff barriers, to balance between the to fill the gap of discrepancy in economic terms, between markets, and to help countries like us to develop together with other countries, ASEAN as a bloc.
Okay. Yeah. So besides opportunities, there are also challenges that Vietnamese enterprises have to face when entering the bloc. In your opinion, how can Vietnamese enterprises can prepare for those opportunities and also the challenges?
Oh, there's a lot of, that is a big question. Vietnamese need to be prepared, especially in terms of manufacturing. We need more of the technical improvement in technology, for the good to be competitive in terms of cost. Then the question of how to improve our export quality, that need a lot of improvement from the beginning to the end process of the products. To increase the quality, Vietnamese enterprise should pay more attention, on looking for the good way to develop new products. New products. With new products, you have a new price, better price, and then to enter the markets, and also to gain the market share in other markets.
So thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And joining ASEAN and the ASEAN Economic Community represents Vietnamese government's vision towards global economic integration. The vision is not restricted within the ASEAN bloc only. Instead, ASEAN serves as a bridge and support base for Vietnam to head towards the global trend of free trade. Integration means opportunities and challenges. To optimize the opportunities and overcome the challenges, Vietnamese enterprises need to improve their competitiveness and capacity. And that also wraps up this edition of Bizline. Thank you very much for being here with us. Remember that you can always rewatch our program at vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go. Once again, thank you for being here with us today. And from our team here in Hanoi, till the next time.